Hello folks, welcome back to the Edupedia world, and I am Abhinay Gupta. So today again we'll be continuing with the amendments in the company law. Right? So far we have already had a couple of lectures on this, and where we have covered the amendments or the exemptions given to the Section 8 company, the not-for-profit companies. Right? We had a lot, somewhere around 14 sections where you had exemption for the Section 8 company. And you have 9 sections where you have exemption for the private companies, right? So we have already dealt with around 4 to 5 exemptions in the private company, and there are just 4 to go. We'll try to finish it up in this lecture. If there is something more remaining, or if the time does not allow us, we'll cover it in the next lecture itself, right? So what are the exemptions to the private companies? The following is the list of the sections, right? Now, section 2 clause 76, as we've already discussed, deals with the definition of the related party transaction, right? And it has a certain exemption over there. The exemption dealt with the exemption from passing the board resolution or the special resolution, or the ordinary resolution in the shareholders meeting in the transactions that are undertaken along with the group companies, right? So section 2 clause 76 part 8. Right, over there you have been given the name of the group companies, that is the holding, subsidiary, associate, JV, subsidiary of your holding. So these are group companies. So if you are entering into a transaction with them, you do not need to get the approval of the board or the shareholders, right? This exemption was actually supposed to be covered while we would be doing section 188, right? But since the exemption solely pertains to the definition, we have covered it along with section 2 clause 76. Right, but we'll still be discussing 188 because we have one more exemption in 188 that pertains to the second proviso. We'll discuss it while we are doing section 188. Next we have section 160. Remember what 160 was? So 160 basically dealt with the right of a person other than the retiring person to stand for the directorship. And what was the exemption over there? The exemption was from the depositing of rupees 1 lakh. So in a private company, you need not deposit rupees 1 lakh, right, for your candidature. Then you have section 162, and 162 dealt with the appointment of directors to be voted individually. Now, is that a provision remaining for the private company? The answer is no. In a private company, you can vote via a single resolution. You can pass a single resolution for appointing more than one director. Right? We have seen the various provisions in detail. We'll not discuss the background now. Then we have section 180, right? And what did section 180 deal with? Section 180 basically dealt with the restrictions on the power of the board. You had 4 powers of the board that was actually restricted by the members. You had to pass a special resolution pertaining to 4 powers of the board as per section 180. But in the private company, you have been exempted from that. What were those 4 powers? First is the sell, lease or dispose of a part, wholly or whole, or the part of the undertaking of the company, right? Second is about the investment of the proceeds of amalgamation. The third point was about the borrowing, right? So if your amount already borrowed and proposed to be borrowed exceeds the paid up share capital and general reserve, you need to pass a special resolution. And the fourth point relates to the deferment of the repayment of loan by director. So all these 4 conditions, all these 4 powers of the board was to be exercised after receiving an approval from the shareholders by a special resolution. But now, as per the exemption for the private company, it is not so. They can just pass a board resolution and go ahead with it, right? Then we have discussed section 184, which deals with the disclosure of interest by director. So what exemption you had over there? Did you have any exemption from disclosure of interest? The answer is no. You had to disclose your interest. But you had an exemption from the ineligibility of attending or participating in the meeting. As per the provision of 184, you had to disclose your interest and then you were not allowed to participate in that meeting. But as per your exemption, you are still supposed to disclose your interest, but now you will be allowed to participate in the meeting, right? And the reason and the background behind it have already been discussed. Now today we move on to the next section, section 185. Right, so we'll deal with the provisions of 185 now. So section 185 basically deals with the loan to director. And as per the previous provision, as per the original provision of 185, a company is not supposed to extend loans to their directors. It is prohibited. And the prohibition also extends to the person in whom that director is interested. You're not giving any loan, you're not giving any guarantee, you're not giving any security for the loan. Right? So that was the requirement of 185. But for the private company, you have certain exemptions. Right? So section 185 shall not apply to a private company satisfying all of the following conditions. Exemption means now you are allowed to give loan to your directors, but that should be based on the certain conditions. If you qualify these conditions, if you satisfy these conditions, you may give loan. If you do not satisfy, you may not give loan. And there is a point to be noted that these conditions, the three conditions that we'll be discussing, should be cumulatively satisfied. There is no or, it is and. Right? So what is the first condition that you need to satisfy? It is that no body corporate shall have invested any money in the share capital of the company. Now what does it mean? Yeah, as a layman term, you know that there should be no investment from any other body corporate. Well and good. But why so? Right? So now let us get again back into the shoes of the private company. So what is a private company? A closely held company. Right? The directors, owners, they are basically the same people. There is no outsiders interference. So over there, let us take an example again. A, B, C are three directors in the company ABC Private Limited. Right? So these people were also the owners of the company. Now they had invested certain amount of capital into the company. It is their own company, they're running the company, they're earning good now. And suppose C needs a loan from the company. And do you think C should not be allowed to take loan from his own company? In the case of public company, it is not the director's company. Directors are just the management of the company. Right? Shareholders are the owners, and that too is diversified. But in the private company, directors and members are basically the same people, right? Generally, if you look out, if you people are doing your internship, you must have come across a lot of private companies already, right? You have seen their structure. The same people are the directors, same people are the owners. They have injected their capital. They should be allowed to take money out from their own company, na? It's their own company. They want some money. They should be allowed. So now the company, the exemption notification says that okay, you will be allowed to take loan from your company, considering it to be your own company, right? But you will have to fulfill certain conditions. And we won't give you a blanket of approval that you take as much loan as you want. No. There are certain basic conditions, mere formalities. Satisfy them. That means that there is a limit to the loan that you will take. The first, it says that there should be no investment from any other body corporate. Means that company should be your own company. You have invested capital, you have worked, you have earned, you take the money. But if somebody else has invested capital and then you have worked and earned, you're not supposed to take his money. That is not yours because that capital belongs to that holding company who has invested in you. That is not your investment. You did not inject your finance, you will not be allowed to take it from the company. If it is your finance wholly, take as much as you want. Right? So that is the basic understanding and the basic meaning behind this provision, behind this condition. Right? Now, suppose the first condition is satisfied. The directors or the owners have themselves injected the capital in the company. There is no outsider funding. Right? Then the next condition is that the borrowings, like okay, you have invested capital. For example, say you have invested 2 crore rupees in a company, a private company, right? But since you have been expanding a lot, you have borrowed money, right? For the work, for your capital expansion or for expansion, you have borrowed money from outside. This is not the injection of capital. This is borrowing. This is loan that you have taken, that the company has taken, the private company has taken, right? So what they say is that you should not have taken the borrowing. You should not have accepted the borrowing which is more than twice the capital you have injected. That means your debt equity ratio should not be more than 2:1. Right? It has simple meaning. So the limit is lower of either twice the paid up share capital or 50 crores, 500 million. Right? That means that if you are running a private company and you have invested 2 crores, right, and you have a borrowing up to maximum 4 crores, then you can withdraw, you can take loan. But if you have invested 2 crores and you have borrowed 10 crores, and that is the financial institution or the bank's money that you are running a business on, and now you want loan, then you take that loan from that company again, and then if the company is gone for a toss, the investors are at loss, the company is gone, I have my money back. That should not be the scenario, right? The people can do that. They take loan from the bank for the company, then they take loan from the company, and then the company goes for a toss, closed, right? So they said that if you want loan, make sure that the borrowing from outside is not more than twice your paid up share capital. Basically, we'll check the condition twice the paid up share capital, because even you have seen a lot of private companies, right? Did you ever see a paid up share capital of more than 50 crores in a private company? I have not seen it personally. There are very few private companies in which you may have a paid up share capital of more than 50 crores. So forget about that limit. Basically, what you will have to check in a practical scenario is 2 into paid up share capital, right? Now suppose even this condition is satisfied. You are the only people investing capital and your borrowing is also below 2 times your capital, right? Then there shall be no subsisting default in repayment of such borrowing at the time of making transaction. That means when you want to borrow money from the company, make sure that you have not made any default in the repayment of interest and the principal amount. That means you have sufficient fund, your company is running sufficiently well that you are able to return the financier's money to them. Then if you want, you can take loan. But suppose if there is a condition that the company is not working well, the company is going for a toss now, and the director thinks, okay, I should be safe, I should take loan and move ahead, and then the company should be over. So they won't allow that, because if they're not repaying their borrowing that time, that means the company is not performing well. And if the company is not able to repay its borrowing, then do you think the company should be in a position to distribute loan to somebody else? Not able to satisfy their own loans, the conditions of the terms of their own loan, and then they are also giving loan to somebody else. That is not fair. If you are in a position to give loan, please repay your loan beforehand. If you do that, then you can do. So if you are in a good working condition, repaying your loans at time, then you are allowed to advance loan to the directors, right? So the basic reason why we are discussing in so much detail the entire section is that this is one exemption where you can get a full-fledged 4-mark question, and you have to remember that yeah, these are the 3 conditions. So first condition, just remember the company is standing alone in the market. It has built it up on its own, right? On its own value, on its own capital, right? So remember the first point, self-made company, right? Second is you should understand the leverage to 2:1 ratio, right? And third is the proper functioning, right? No defaults. That is how you remember, right? So do you understand the exemption now? The entire exemption of 185? This is what is exempted. So if you satisfy this condition, you are free to give loans to your directors, right? We move on to the next section, that is 188. Now we come back to 188. We have already discussed 188 while we were discussing section 2 clause 76, right? That was the first exemption. We have 2 exemptions in 188. We have already discussed one that was pertaining to the definition. Now we'll discuss the second exemption. So basically the exemption given is, the notification says the notification exempts private company from the ambit of the second proviso of section 181 subsection 1. So now let us again go to a little background, right? What happens in a private company? So we have already discussed section 184. You remember 184 dealt with the disclosure of interest by directors, right? So what did we see over there? That now the exemption notification allows those directors to disclose their interest and then participate. And why was it done so? Because the company actually faced a lot of compliance issue in their performance. Because the directors are generally interested, and if there are 3 directors and 2 or 1 of them are interested, then it was not possible for the company to conduct a board meeting. There was no quorum, the director could not participate. How would they do it? So they faced a lot of difficulty in the compliance procedure. but although you know, they should not be stopped, right? So the company brought out an exemption that the directors would be allowed to participate after that disclosure. First disclose, let everybody know that yeah, you're interested, and then go ahead, no problem with that, right? So now you have the similar kind of a problem with members as well, right? The private company, how many members do you have? 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, right? That is how it goes. So what happens is, those members can also be interested. It's a closed company, right? It is a closely managed company. So there are very limited members, very limited directors. Now if you restrict the members from voting as well, that no, in your related party transaction, if you are related, you will not be able to vote in the resolution of the members. Now do you think that will be a good decision? That will again cause the same problem that you face in the board of directors meeting. So if you have exempted the board of directors from that provision, if you have given an exemption to 184, you should also give an exemption to 188, and that is what they have done, right? So they have given the exemption from the ambit of second proviso. So this exemption will permit the members of the company interested in the contract or arrangement to vote on the resolution for authorizing the related party transaction, right? Did you get the point? So this is all about the second provision, nothing else. So the first exemption in 188 is discussed with section 2 clause 76, right? That if it's a group company, then you need not pass these resolution and go ahead with the transaction. First thing. And now again what they have said, that if you are entering into any contract in which you are interested, then let us not make it cumbersome, let us not make it a compliance issue for you. The directors just disclose their interest and go ahead as per 184. And the members, again, they disclose their interest and go ahead, vote. Yeah. Come on, we don't have an issue, go ahead and vote. Right? There should be no compliance issue. It's your company, you are doing it, go ahead. Right? So that is what was the intention behind this. And hence, it is exempted now. So it is a great relief to the private companies, right? They were facing a great compliance issue. In their day-to-day procedures, they had a lot of problems. But now everything is relaxed. Understood? So that was the only provision of 188. Now I don't think we'll be able to cover the next two sections in this lecture because we need a little discussion in the next section. So we'll cover it up in the concluding lecture, right? There's no point covering up one more section and leaving just one section for the next lecture, right? So we'll divide it into 2 equal halves. We have covered 2 sections. We'll cover the other 2 sections in the next lecture, right? So stay tuned for the next lecture. Until then, this is Abhinay Gupta signing off, right? Thank you. Bye-bye.